Now that we have looked at ethos, logos, and pathos, and the ways to appeal to our audience, we're going to look at what happens when those appeals go wrong, or ways that people maybe use these appeals, but in incorrect ways that manipulate their audience. We'll see a lot of these in presidential debates or political debates. We'll see them in certain types of persuasive writing. And we're really looking at when they don't create that logic the way that they're supposed to based on facts and then on reasoning, or it might be based on different types of authority or the way they manipulate authority. It should be known that we also can have fallacies in pathos. We think of stirring symbols such as fascism or Nazi. These are things that can immediately cause emotion, even though they're unfounded. But we're only going to be looking at fallacies of ethos and logos here in these videos. So let's begin. We're going to start with ethos, and the first one is ad populum, which are bandwagon appeals. These rely on the general beliefs of people, even though we don't have correct evidence. We want to think of things that typically people think are true, even though we don't have evidence to support those. For example, buying cars new is a better option because used car salesmen are so dishonest. There really isn't enough evidence to show that used car salesmen are dishonest. And again, we could provide evidence and we could compound that evidence to create a stronger argument. But bandwagon appeals, they instead will move right on to the credibility of what people believe itself as the authority rather than based on evidence. And that's what causes it to be a fallacy. We all know that the more we spend on a product, the better quality we can expect. Again, this is a general belief that people have carried through. There's not really support being given to show this. If we provided that support, we'd be making a plausible argument. But here we're just relying on the accepted beliefs of the population. The next one is ad hominem, or against the person. These we'll often see in political debates. They attack the character of the person and not the issue. So you think of when they're attacking what the person looks like, maybe mistakes that they had made, rather than their policies. These would be ad hominem attacks. So we're trying to bring down the authority or credibility of the person. Why should I listen to someone who doesn't know the difference between there and there? We see this on Facebook or social media all the time when somebody makes a point and somebody else corrects their spelling as a way of bringing down their credibility. Your policy is unfair. Okay, so we're attacking a policy just by looking at you. I can see you are corrupt with your fancy suit and expensive car. This is also a common tactic where we say because somebody has money or because somebody is thriving off the system, they now become an incredible source, somebody that we shouldn't listen to. And then we have false authority. So we are providing authority, but it's not in the area in which we need that expertise. False authority is then using a biased, suspicious, or incredible source to defend a position. We think of doctors who are selling weight loss drugs on TV. That is a good authority, a doctor, but if we find out they're being paid for their testimony, now it becomes that false authority. So Tom Cruise says that psychology is a pseudoscience. You're probably all too young to remember, but Tom Cruise once came out against taking medication for postpartum depression, and he said that all psychology is pseudoscience. However, Tom Cruise never received his degree in psychology. He says he just read a lot about it, and so he knows a lot about it. If we're citing Tom Cruise as an authority, he becomes a false authority then. Donald Trump would be a good president because he is a good businessman. Okay, we've probably heard something similar to this before. And again, we're relying on authority to support that claim. But really, are good businessmen good presidents? Okay, why is that authority deemed credible as far as the presidency is concerned? And so we look at the same arguments with good generals could make good presidents, and so forth. So we're really relying on an authority that is not credible or not in a position to be an authority.